Here we are once again. This time we're recording. Would be episode
35 and 36.
Well, this is awesome. What's up, Bill?
I feel like we've almost had a career together. In fact, I'm getting sick of you.
Yeah.
Is that why I'm in the middle here?
We bicker a little bit, not too much though. We're good. We have to. We know what we have to do.
Mostly on the phone.
We need to go out, sit down, and have a beer and a drink together.
That's
I work
right.
too much. But listen, before we go any further, I hate having our guests sit around and wait because, especially today. Especially today. I still didn't say it
That's
right.
hood.
Especially today because I'm so excited. Today, Bill, I am chomping at the bit.
He always accuses me of that I'm the more high-stressed guy.
Yeah, he's definitely. So, listen, our first guest needs no introduction. And as a matter of fact, we're not even going to tell you his name for the whole 3 hours. No, I'm kidding. He's actually running for Queens DA. He's a retired NYPD police officer. And boy, has he had some life, man, some career. And without further ado, what's up, Joe Murray?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you?
So excited. Thanks.
He also did a few episodes of The Perfect Murder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But a judge, prosecutor. I think it was a
Did
juror.
anyone ever recognize you from that show?
Yeah. It's so funny because mostly court people watch that. As my office is right across the street from the courthouse, so I'd be walking down the street and somebody would start throwing lines out. Will the defendant please rise?
That's great.
So yeah, it was fun.
I did 6 episodes and no one ever recognized me anywhere.
Oh God. Yeah, especially in the courthouse. Like,
that's great.
Court people.
That's pretty cool.
You're from Queens, right?
Yes. Grew up in Howard Beach.
How old are you?
52.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
See, I did my research on him. Like,
all right.
Man.
I
feel like I know him.
You guys are pros.
This happens every, I feel like I know you. Listen, I got to get this out of the way just because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. But one of the things that I found really fascinating was that you were a boxer.
Yes.
You competed amateur boxer.
I did.
I mean, a lot.
Well, not a lot. I mean, I was on the team and I fought in 3 Golden Gloves tournaments.
That's a lot.
I fought.
I saw a picture of you, one of your boxing. You look like a complete psycho.
Well,
you got this look on your face.
I'm running for office.
No, I'm just saying that you could turn.
Don't tell me you had the shamrock.
I know him, man.
Did you have the shamrock on?
Like for example, like you're from Howard Beach, right?
Yeah.
So I always say that I'm from Astoria, and it wasn't a bad neighborhood, but it could be a tough neighborhood depending on who you hung out with.
Right.
I tell people, I said, when I was a kid, a teenager, we used to play this game. You might have played this game when you were a teenager too. You ever do this thing called "What the fuck are you looking at"? You ever play that game?
That's a good.
You ever hanging out in the corner?
Yeah, that's
drinking beers, getting fired up all night, just walk around your neighborhood looking for fights.
Yep.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like you could just turn like the sweetest guys in the world, Catholic school guys. Now they were all hanging out together after school, just looking for trouble, man.
Where are they now?
That's right.
They retired from the NYPD.
That's right.
Right. So,
but let me ask you a question. So. What age did you get involved in boxing?
I have 4 brothers and a sister, and I'm the middle brother. So obviously, I'm fighting with the older guys, and I'm fighting with the younger guys. I was the middle guy. And my father, who was a cop and then went to the fire department, his whole thing was, hey, listen, you guys going to fight? Put the gloves on, go downstairs.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
And he would be the ref.
Old school, man.
So,
right now you get locked up for that.
And we'd be in round 20.
You get locked up for that right now.
Yeah.
If somebody told somebody else that you were downstairs watching your kids fight each other with boxing gloves on, you get locked up.
Now they put them on a video game, right? Let's see who wins.
Right. Go do it on the video game.
So
that was my first introduction to boxing. And then we had some kids in the neighborhood too would also.
But did you? I got started. I went to the PAL. I was already older. I went to the one on Queens Boulevard. Remember that one?
That was
right. Was it by the
PAL?
courts?
That was.
No, you're talking about the other one. I'm talking about the PAL one. It was by the courts, I think.
No, the 110 PAL in the park. That was a good PAL.
I went to the. It was a parks and it was a park and recreation, but it was on. It was right where the highway goes. You get on the highway over there. I remember I'm pretty sure it was on Queens Boulevard.
Believe it or not.
You know what? That club used to be there. Anyway, whatever. This guy, Artie. No, it was a night. Yeah. It was right across the street from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, Artie, was the
Lost
trainer
Battalion.
there. Lost Battalion Hall. That's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't PAL.
No.
Okay, so it was Lost Battalion Hall. Artie used to be the boxing coach there. I only did it for almost a year.
What year?
It was before I went into the academy. I remember the reason why too. It was like that I just stopped doing it was because, first of all, Artie told me one day. What happened was I got a nice once in the nose sparring, and then my I remember my eyes had swollen up. Like I got black and blue on both eyes.
Yeah.
So I came back to the gym. I guess it was to work out the next day, but to work out. And I was like, glove up. I need you to spar. And I'm like, dude, I can't. My fucking, my face is killing me, whatever. And he's like, why don't you go back to the weights? Because I was a bodybuilder. He goes, why don't you go back to the weights? They don't hit back.
That's great.
So, and then I thought about it because I remember the time frame. I was going into the police, or I knew I'm going to go into the police academy soon, and I hadn't broken a bone yet in my body. So I'm like, why break my nose and have to go and get it reported to the academy, all this shit. So I was just like, you know what, forget it. So I stopped. But you kept going.
Well, no, actually, to be honest with you, I never went into a boxing gym until I got on the job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, well, I should let you know, before I got on the job, I worked out in Kennedy Airport. I joined when I was 20.
Okay.
But I worked out in Kennedy Airport. Good friend of mine, Billy Sharkey, used to be a pro fighter. And he was a bouncer at a bar in Long Beach. He brought me in there.
Which one was that?
The Sandpiper.
Oh, yeah.
It was all the way down the end by the digs.
Yeah, I never went to that one. But when you started saying Chauncey's, I remember that one I went to.
Yeah, everybody knows Chauncey's.
Yeah.
But down on the West End there, it's the last one on that strip. Mm-hmm. And Billy was a good friend of mine. And
Did you know Eddie Malia?
No.
Okay. Because I know he worked at those bars, too.
Yeah.
He's our age, too. He was on the job.
He was a pro fighter. And, oh, my God, this guy, when he hit people, it was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So, and I would work out with Billy, and we were good friends, but he didn't want me to box. He was pushing me to go into the police academy. He had a lot of cop friends, and so he was like, no, just go into the academy, do your thing. And so when I got on the job, I didn't actually start boxing until I got dumped out of my first command to the 7th precinct,
which was your first
Midtown North.
Oh, man, the land of milk and honey.
Oh, my God.
So you went there, did you FTU there?
I ended up getting married after that. I was so depressed. I was like, that's it. I'm doomed. So
you went to Midtown North right out of the academy?
No, I was in FTU 4.
Okay.
I don't know when you came on.
I came on in 92.
Yeah, so we had FTU.
I was
like
in NSU 4.
Yeah, 192023, which was nice.
What year did you come on?
87.
Okay, I came on in 85.
Yeah. So I got sent to Midtown North. Now, my father was on the job, and then he went to the fire department. So he's like, listen, you got to switch over, roll over, take the test. So, all right, I took the test. In 88, I got a 99 on the test, so then I had to take the physical. In 1988 is when that guy died during the I don't know if you remember, during the physical at Columbus Circle. Mm-hmm. So I was scheduled to go to take the physical, and the guy died, so they suspended the test, and they put me in Midtown North.
Oh, my God.
With the hotels, the restaurants, actresses, models.
The theaters.
I'm 21 years old, the theaters. I was like, Dad, I don't think I want to be a fireman. I'm having too much fun here. So,
didn't they call Midtown North Fort Hook?
Yeah, Fort Hook.
You need a huge hook to get there, right? Yeah.
And I can just picture you walking around because you have a lot of pictures, right? But we're young.
Yes.
I mean, you're handsome now.
Yeah, 21.
But he's
21.
You got to see him.
Officer Joe Bolton.
You weren't bad looking either.
Listen.
Andrew's a mess, but you. You weren't bad. You were good looking too. Young. But he beats us both.
God.
You had to see him. You had to see
so
him.
much fun, early on, and that.
Were you getting the women to buy you drinks or what?
Listen, I don't want to get Kavanaugh on this campaign here.
Explain to our audience. Okay, so Well, you're working in Midtown. You said was north or south? It doesn't make a difference anyway. It's only 10 blocks.
Yeah.
So tell us where you are in that area for people who aren't from New York.
It's great because not only was I in Midtown North,
Midtown Manhattan.
Midtown Manhattan, which it's from. We go from Lexington to the West Side, and then 43rd Street would be the border up to the park.
Up to Central Park.
Central Park, yeah.
So that's like the heart of it. The theater district, the best restaurants in New York City.
Best hotels.
Yeah.
Hotels. So did you ever go out after work?
The real question was, did I ever go home after work? Yeah. So, and I really had it good too. My brother worked for Pan Am at the time. Pan Am was around. He had an apartment on the West Side. Plus, he worked for the hotel. So whenever they had like a layover or a holdover, he had rooms all over the place. So I'd be out partying.
That's what's called a ground ball.
Oh my God! So
I had to scavenge around for all that stuff and put it together piecemeal. You had it right there.
Did anyone do any police work in Midtown North?
Not much. No, no, we did actually. Believe it or not. I mean, you know,
I got to tell you a
85.
quick story. A friend of mine was like a lieutenant there, and when the little brats that were the cops there wanted off, Daddy, the chief, would say, "Megan needs off tomorrow. There's no excuses, Chief. I just told you, Megan will get off tomorrow."
Oh my God!
Imagine that. You'd be wanting.
Yeah,
to kill, right?
I got to be honest with you. When I got there, I was fortunate. They were starting a new unit called the Westside Task Force, and we all had foot posts. And they teamed us up with the theater squad, the most senior guys.
Right.
A theater squad, huh?
There's a theater
what is that?
detail.
Yeah.
So these guys.
It's a detail that corruption is allowed.
There's one.
It's encouraged.
There's one cop assigned to every theater on the West Side.
Well, yeah, like the different theaters would have a cop there assigned to it because. Don't forget.
Including their own security, the theater.
Yes, but the 80s, crack was hitting hard. Like street crime.
There were tons of hoes out there, too. The prostitute problem was unbelievable.
Yeah, and these crackheads, they love going to Broadway shows, right?
Oh, hoes for the audience or prostitutes? That's it.
Right.
No, but it was bad. It was a bad time.
It was bad.
It was crime, let's put it that way.
But a lot of street crime, and that's the tourist hub
so
of
a
New
lot
York City.
of purse snatching.
I mean, the simplest thing, you'd go into Sbarro's and sit down, take your coat off, and there's a guy sitting next to you reaching into your pockets.
Right away. Yeah.
They were everywhere. Yeah. So they wanted us there, in the area. So, but the senior most guys wonder why we're in the theater squad.
They didn't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, the Shea Stadium used to be a hookup, but man, and the Yankee Stadium's a good detail too. But I can't imagine anything better than better than the theater squad.
It was nice.
I mean, once the show starts, you're good for 3 hours.
Also, like the theaters owned you; they thought you were their own little security guard, and if the precinct commander tried to touch you, they'd get on the phone with the police commissioner.
That's right.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, shit, who doesn't want to have a couple of tickets to freaking Hamilton to give away to your friends and the family and barter for hookups? Forget about it.
It was really, but as a rookie, you have to learn, like they would break in and I have to learn certain codes and signals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you'd walk into a theater and the guy would go like this. I'm like, what is he doing? He goes, turn the radio down.
Yeah.
You're in the theater,
Yeah.
So, but it was great. So we worked 6 to 2 with the theater squad, but we were called the Westside Task Force, and we covered like 45th to 50th, 8 to 10.
Did they, because you were a cop there, did they ever? And you were so handsome, young when you were running around as rookie. Did they ever like throw you into a play?
No.
We're short, man.
We're short a guy tonight.
Would you mind standing on stage?
I got to tell you though, it was. You
must have got hooked up with a lot of stuff, though. I mean, how many times did somebody in that area come up to you and ask you, "Hey, do you want to be in this magazine?" Or
it actually happened.
I know it happened. I'm not a dope. I know what I'm talking about.
It was like, listen, we're doing a shoot. I need someone. Do you want to do it? I was like, okay. And I was in a Southern Comfort.
And then you found out it was a porn movie.
No, seriously, if there's girls
I had my
listening.
Porn mustache back then,
wait, don't. We're gonna come back then. If there's girls listening right now, you go in and Google Joe Murray and you'll Joe Murray lawyer, and that'll keep you because there's another Joe Murray. I don't know who he is, but the Joe Murray lawyer, and you'll see these pictures that I'm talking about. And he's a young cop, man. You were a handsome dude, man. And then you'll see that one picture where he just finished the fight. Fucking looks crazy. Anyway, so back to the handlebar mustache. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, so I was, so we had the Westside Task Force on 45th to 50th, 46th Street between 8th and 9th is Restaurant Row. It was a fixer.
Yeah.
Now, you know what a fixer is. Like, it was the post you didn't want and you got stuck because you had to be there. I'm on Restaurant Row and it's a fixer. I was like, you couldn't pry me out of Restaurant Row.
And you get to know, you get to know everybody, and everybody gets to know you. Who doesn't want you inside?
They love us because, like,
you get a couple of
crime there too.
There's crime, and there's the troublemakers, because you get these guys, they walk down the street and they're always grilling people, and they're in your face and they're trying to intimidate. There's always a knucklehead or two on every single block,
right?
Just in that area.
These
especially.
businesses can't survive without that street traffic.
Yeah, and you need somebody there to be, hey, take a walk.
Yeah,
get out of here.
And we did a lot of that.
Yeah.
Also, which is really funny, and it'll come into, I guess, my campaign later, Guardian Angels headquarters was on 46th Street.
Curtis?
Oh, really?
Curtis Lewa.
The Guardian Angels. You thought you meant the Hells Angels, because I know they were in the village.
The police department hated the Guardians.
Well, I got to be fair about it. The police department, well, here's the issue. These guys had no training.
Right.
They were young kids who...
Well, I remember the Guardian Angels, but let's explain it to our audience.
Yeah, that's true.
They were a group of, some called them vigilantes, which they weren't. They weren't a gang either. They were a group of young, mostly men, some women, that had some experience, trained in martial arts, or used to get together to do some training, and then they would all wear the same uniform, which was a white T-shirt with red, and it had a Guardian Angel logo on it with the red berets. They were identifiable. You got on a train, and you saw two Guardian Angels there. I got to be honest with you. You felt a little comfortable.
You did.
You felt, because if there's somebody there that's going to start trouble, these crazy people, for no reason, they're not getting paid, would jump in.
Right.
That's why they were called the Guardian Angels. And Curtis Lewa was the leader, and Lisa Lewa was his wife at the time, and they were very present in the New York media.
Hey, look,
during that whole
both
time.
of them up to get a job in media.
Yeah. But they were out there. He still wears the hat and the shirt, by the way.
He does. He
still wears it.
I used to work in the South and the North. I was in citywide anti-crime in 1988.
And Barry Burns?
No, I remember him.
Barry, right?
Barry Burns. Yeah,
I was partners with
his
Burns.
brother, Andy Burns. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of times we'd be on a group that we knew was going to do a robbery,
right?
And the Guardian Angels would spot the same thing we were following.
Right.
So then they would jump in and interrupt it. We wanted to smack the shit out of it. We just ruined our robbery power, by jumping it before it was ready, They
were really like, if you think about it, they were almost like, because there's a whole group of these people that want to be superheroes. They really think they're superheroes, and they get dressed up as superheroes. You can see it on Netflix. There's a whole documentary about these people all over the country. They make a superhero outfit, and they go out there and they try to fight crime and get in the middle of crime. But they were really that's what they were.
They could probably use them again right now.
No. They tried to be anyway.
Yes. However well-intentioned they were, sometimes they got a little too aggressive. And for example, you'd be sitting on your front stoop of your building, and they would come over and take a walk, and the guy would be like, "What do you mean take a walk? I live here." And they would, they just were not as diplomatic as the
police.
A police officer. Not that we were much more, but
yeah, it's true.
So they were a little abusive sometimes, and we'd have to pull them in and rein them in. Occasionally, we'd have to arrest a couple of them. And there was a sergeant that we had over there that just hated Curtis. So whenever he had an opportunity to, put the bracelets on him.
Well, Curtis took a few collars too.
Yeah. So
what a crazy time. So why did you have to leave that command?
So this is typical of Midtown North. Now, if you know Midtown North, nobody calls 911 over there. Like every chief. I'll give you a perfect example. We were on St. Pat's, and we had that detail. And St. Pat's, what you would do, it was just...
St. Patrick's Cathedral?
The cathedral. Okay. And so the church would close up at 8 o'clock. So we would go around with, the ushers that worked there. We'd take all the money out of all the collection boxes, bring it down to the safe, put it in the safe.
How much did you get every night?
Listen, no, forget it. I mean, I go to hell and burn forever. So
he's Catholic too. So how could you even suggest that?
Ballpark figure.
So we would go around and do all that. Then you'd lock up the church. You'd take a lap. You wouldn't take your meal until then. So then the rest of the night was yours. That was like the unwritten rule over there. So this one particular night, there was a vigil going on in the Lady Chapel. So the church has off-duty cops working security, and they just left the door open on Madison Avenue for the, parishioners to come in through there. So we see the guys, and we're like, "Hey, you got this?" Yeah. So we leave, and I think I was in Luigi's around the corner eating my stuffed shells. And I hear St. Pat's 10-1. Of course, you monitor radio to make sure nothing's going on. So St. Pat's 10-1, 10-1. So I call the desk, and I'm like, what's going on? So they're like, you tell me what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. There's nothing. I'm watching the radio. So they're like, we got everyone calling here from the borough, from headquarters. They're all asking about St. Pat's. I'm like, there's nothing going on. So like, you better get up there. The duty captain's on his way up there. Okay, great. So we start walking up. As we're getting to the block of the church, the captain picks us up. He's like, so what's going on up there? You know what I mean? Like, I had no answer. Right. I was like, well, we were out here, just doing patrol outside. So we get inside. What had happened is a woman who was trying to go to this vigil got robbed in the back of the church.
Wow.
So does anyone call 911? No. The rector had, every chief in the borough gives him his home phone number. Yeah. So he calls them all at home, and then they call from home to the borough, to the precinct. Nothing is on the radio. So
wow.
So by the time we got there,
I definitely get it now.
It's
I know
over and
exactly
done with.
Yeah, it's like annoying.
Oh my God!
Doesn't give you a chance to think.
No, it's like the attention they would give a robbery in Central Park. It was like they want to establish a task force on the spot,
And everybody wants to have that card because everybody wants to make that call, and then it becomes tedious. A lot of times it's for a little shit too, right?
A lot of that
But all
stuff.
they had to do was call 911.
Yeah.
We were around the corner. We would have been right there.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff is because of contracts.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
So we had
at home.
Okay, so that was the incident that.
So
you wound up. We got launched.
We got launched. So
if you don't know what launched means, that means like
launched is they catapult you.
No, it's somebody kicks you right in the ass.
So painful.
It's when somebody kicks you in the ass and you just take off. They kicked you that hard. You don't know where you're gonna land though.
Did you ever hear the thing called a ruler transfer?
No.
That's where they take a map and they figure out where you live, and they take the ruler and find the furthest possible place they can put you from your home. And
I heard of a water transfer, which they had to put a bridge between.
That too. And tolls.
Yeah, tolls.
So where did you end up?
So my partner, Andy, ended up going to the 5th precinct.
He was juiced, though.
His father
was J. Pat Burns,
Patty
the
Burns.
vice president of the PBA.
And I got to go to the 7th precinct. Like, they didn't even want us together. They were like, you guys are gone.
How much time did you have when this happened?
This was, I think, 90. I had 2 years on.
Yeah, so that's
3 years.
A little early in your career to get launched. I mean, that's a...
It was a 5-day hit, too. We got Schedule A, 5 days.
5-day hit? What, for off-post?
Off-post.
Wow.
Off-post around the corner.
Yeah, at Luigi's.
And they did a DNA test on the tie, and they found
it was a fixture
sauce.
when the church is open. And normally it closes at 8.
Yeah, but they had that thing going on in the Virgin thing.
So
did they find the spaghetti sauce on your tie? And they
they're like,
they connected it to Luigi's. You were dead in the water.
Yeah. They knew. I mean, they knew where we were.
Right,
That's how the place operates.
Right,
like. So
because it's a contract to get there, a hook to get there. So if you mess up your hook, you're launched.
You're
big
done.
Time.
You're done.
So you went to the 7th is what?
So
the 7th is.
Well, no, wait. You're gonna love this. So I'm like, the 7th precinct. Where is that? It's on Pitt Street, and it's called Fort Pitt. I was like, wait, what? There's one bar in the precinct, and you have to carry a gun to that bar. So I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm not leaving here. No.
Lower East Side, that's right.
Lower East Side was bad, back then,
Oh my God.
So I was like, wait, what is a Midtown cop going to do on Pitt Street, So, but,
So needless to say, the neighborhood was a little different, and
oh my God,
you didn't have all the commodities that you had grown accustomed to.
Yeah,
it's
but
tough when you come out of the
is?
academy and you get like you're in some place like that right away because it's all downhill after that.
Yeah.
So were you used to the women going, "Mira, papi, mira"?
That changed a little bit too, right?
Only the ones with teeth, but
Yeah, the caliber of women that you were now
Because in Midtown
getting,
North,
right?
you never heard that.
oh my God! But your routine doesn't change. So like after a 4 to 12, I want to go hang out, or what? We would hang out underneath the Williamsburg Bridge, just drinking, under the bridge with the locals. I was like, wait a minute.
Hey, what happened?
I used to be over at, Park Avenue and
Quiche.
sitting down.
What was that bar that everybody went to? All the writers went to?
Oh, in the Village?
No, it was on the Upper West Side. Was it the West Side or the East Side? Michael, what was that kid?
Rosie O'Grady's? Or?
No, the one that Robert Chambers used to hang out at.
Oh.
And what was the other guy?
No, it was from Marty O's.
The detective that died.
Yeah,
Sheehan used to hang out there too.
Oh, Sheehan.
Elaine's.
Elaine's, yeah.
Elaine's,
That's
yeah.
close.
One
well,
second
that wasn't my place.
One second you're hanging out at a place like Elaine or the Playwrights, and the next second you're drinking with the locals in the Lower East Side.
It's so funny. I'm in the Midtown North in the task force, and I'm partnered up with this guy Marvin Wolfthall, who's been there forever. And so he was bringing me around to the places that we would go to, and he says, so get something to drink. So I was like, what should I just get? Anything you want to drink. So I was like, can I get a beer? And he was like, no. He says, get a mixed drink. So it looks like, we have to play a little bit by the rules here. So we would have a drink, a cocktail, and not. So then to go from there to
brown bagging it,
getting the brown bag,
drinking a 40. What's up, son?
I'd like a Colt 45 or an Old English 800.
Yeah, oh my God. So that's why I got married. Life was over, I was like, forget
Did you
it.
meet your wife on the job? Or?
No, my first wife was a high school sweetheart. And we reconnected after a while. So once I saw my fate.
How long did you have to stay in
What you
Fort Pitt?
Midtown North, you had no
It was
shot
over.
anymore.
Life is over.
How long did you have to stay at Fort Pitt?
I got to stay at Fort Pitt until I ran into a detective in the 10th precinct, and we had a disagreement about something that happened. And,
this is a good. Are you allowed to? I don't know if you want to go into this.
It's up to you.
No, it's up to you.
I don't care.
No, because I read about this.
Yeah.
Actually, public knowledge. It's a pretty cool story. I love the story because that's what. Going back to the
set
boxing,
me on the path of
going back to the boxing a little bit.
Yeah, actually,
you were boxing for the
I fought
department.
for the department team, which was great. We went to England,
did you guys train?
Ireland.
Did you know Joey Cintron?
Yeah, Joey.
He was one of my anti-crime
Great
cops.
guy.
I
great.
love Joey Cintron.
Yeah.
Where did you guys train?
Well, we all did our own training, pretty much on your own, and we would all meet together as a team and on Saturday.
You were still living in Howard Beach?
I moved to Glendale, and then from Glendale, moved back to Howard Beach. I was one or the other. I was back and forth. I trained with Tommy Gallagher at the time. He had a gym on 101st Avenue.
Yeah, I remember that gym.
Yeah. So I just came back. So with the boxing team, we went to England, Ireland, all over the country, Alabama. There's a funny story with that. Tennessee, Colorado. I just came back from Colorado, the World Police Fire Games. It's
how many matches do you
international.
have when you at one like in Tennessee? How many matches do you have in that tournament?
I only had 2 in Tennessee.
So it's usually two.
I've-
It's 2 or 3.
Well, I fought heavyweights, so there weren't a lot of heavyweights.
How much did you weigh? What was your fight weight?
When I came on the job, I was 181, and then I think I was like
After a year in Midtown North, I was 240.
Yeah, and then
and then at Fort Pitt, I went down
Pitt,
to
I lost
honestly,
weight.
I fought 230, 240. Towards the end of my thing.
Really? Wow, that's heavy.
So, but wait, so I just got back from Colorado. This is August of '93, because I was in Midtown North from '88 to '90. Got dumped, was down there, and then August of '93, fought in Colorado. Just came back, and a friend of mine from high school called me up. He says, I just had 3 detectives come to my house in Nassau County, arrest me. The one guy handcuffed me, slapped me around, whatever, brought me back to the 10th precinct, gave me a DAT, and let me go. So I was like, what was the arrest for? He goes, it was something that happened 9 months ago with my ex. He goes, but I know she has a lot of friends on the job. So, I was like, look, I could talk to the guy and see, because he was worried, like, what happens next? Is he going to come after me again? If I have a fight with her? So it's a touchy situation talking to another cop.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, So I didn't want to do it over the phone. I went to my precinct to talk to my guys to see if they knew this guy. And they were like, nah, I don't know him. So it happened the next morning. I had to take 2 cops to a detail at the Garden. So I didn't even know where the 10th precinct was. So when I dropped the cops off, I was like, all right. Told my partner, I said, let's go to the 10th precinct. I got to do something. So we go to the 10th precinct. I go in, and I asked for this detective. We go upstairs, and, I was like, listen, you arrested a friend of mine yesterday. And he said there was a problem. Like, how do you say it?
Right.
So as soon as I mention my friend's name, he starts poking me in the chest. Your friend's a fucking scumbag. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
So now I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, he says you handcuffed him and smacked him around. He goes, F you. He shoves me. I shove him back. He throws a punch. I cracked him and backed up. And now I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Get up. I was like, I'm a 7th precinct cop in the 10th precinct. He's a mess.
I just knocked out.
I'm in uniform.
Probably a first grade detective.
Where am I going? So he gets up.
So I fled down the stairs.
No. So, you know that sick feeling you get?
That crack. That
when
crack
the duty
probably was
captain,
so loud.
you know you're screwed.
when the captain picked me up from Midtown North,
Did you break anything?
and said, yeah, broke his jaw.
You broke his jaw.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh my God.
Not only did it break his jaw, it was a bilateral fracture from here, but like his lower jaw. So he had to be hospitalized. They did surgery to put, the pieces back, minus a few teeth, I think, that I saw on the floor. But I didn't, I hit him once. It was just a reaction.
It's like a bear when you paw at something. I'm
you
sorry.
fought, so And he came and threw a punch at me, so he was very good at it, and he just led with his chin, and I just sat down on it. I guess too, and I was
It's
thinking
almost like
about
a natural reaction if somebody swings on you, but you swing back much better, much straighter, with your weight behind it, the way you punch.
You know what I'm thinking too? The gun belt is heavy, and when you twist your body, that's a lot of
torque.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. So he goes, he leaves, and they all come back.
What do you mean he leaves? In the ambulance?
No, I'm just standing there now. I'm like, oh shit, now what do I do?
He probably didn't realize how bad it was yet.
Yeah, so another cop comes out, and they both leave, and I'm standing in the
Did they
room.
go back in the squad?
Yeah. We were in the arrest processing room.
Did they bolt the door?
Ironically.
Wait.
My partner was behind me, and I didn't see what he saw, but he said he was right there.
Yeah.
And we were alone in the room, but all of a sudden now there were other witnesses that
Said they saw it.
Yeah. So I'm in the room by myself now.
So the detectives, they ran back in the squad and they bolted the door.
So
Call 911.
Oh my God.
Emergency service respond. We have a bear.
It was like, what do I do now? I'm in this. Do I leave? They left me alone. I'm in the arrest processing room. I'm like, okay.
That's what I do.
They didn't teach me this in the academy. What do I do
I walk
here?
into precincts, knock people out.
So
you should have just jumped back in the car. Right, let's get out of here.
So all the guys from the squad
Murray, you
come
got
in.
1 star card.
It's like a movie.
Yeah. So they all come in, but they're like in a semicircle around me. Like they're not coming near me. They're just like
They don't know whether they should collar you or what.
They don't know what to do.
Nobody knows what to do.
right. So
'Cause it happened in the command. It's not like it's outside, in the back.
I
So
gotta hear what the department with this.
Oh, you're gonna love this. You're just gonna love this story.
Okay.
It's probably gonna take 3 hours to tell you this, but so a lieutenant comes up and she asked me for my firearm. Okay, I take my firearm out, and she says, "Wait here." So okay, I'm waiting around. So I was on the boxing team, but I also had a couple of friends, not just from the boxing team. There was a rabbi in the 7th precinct that I was close with. And the word
Did he
spread.
circumcise you?
No. the word spread pretty quick, what happened.
Yeah.
So the word got back to my precinct. So my sergeant went to the rabbi just to tell him, like, what happened. So he calls the duty captain, and Mike Ovis was the duty captain.
Oh, God.
And,
He became a chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll be shocked, though. So Ovis comes in to the arrest processing room, and he says, "Hey, I got a call from our friend, and, what's going on here? Is there something more than just like a fight?" I said, "No, the guy, just reacted, and I hit him. I backed up. I hit him once." He goes, "That's it? There's nothing else going on here?" I said, "Yeah, that's it." He goes, "All right. I'm going to move you to the CO's office." I get in the CO's office.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Everybody's
Listen, take me out of the arrest processing room. We're good. So he goes, "I'll put you in the CO's office here. Are you all right? You need anything? Just stay here. Don't leave here, or we're going to have to make arrangements for you, So I was like, "No, Cap, I'm good."
Don't worry about this taser. It's here just in case.
Ignore the taser. So apparently,
Then they locked the door on the way out.
the detectives that were there were not happy that now I'm in the CO's office. And
They wanted you in the arrest room.
no, they wanted me in the morgue.
Yeah.
So now from later where I heard what happened, they called Joe Borelli up. Directly called Chief Borelli, who was the chief of detectives.
Right.
And Borelli says, "Get that piece of shit back in the arrest processing room. He's a collar." So, all right, now I'm back in the arrest processing room. I'm getting locked up.
So you're walking back and forth in this precinct.
So my rabbi calls Borelli.
A rabbi definitely outranks chief of detectives.
Yeah, right. He calls Borelli,
Much higher.
and he's like, "Chief, what are we doing here? 2 cops had a fight." He goes, "No, 2 cops didn't have a fight. A cop and a detective had a fight, and our guy got hurt. He's going through the system." So I was like, "Oh, okay." They wanted to put me through the system in uniform. That's how vicious they were. So fortunately, I had a good friend of mine who was doing late tours. I was doing day tours. And he heard about this, and he was just getting off. So he came down. It was during the convention, the PBA convention, so there were no trustees, nobody around. So he comes in. He was also on the boxing team. He comes in, and he was like, "I'm the alternate delegate," because the convention, there were no delegates. So he goes, "Nobody's putting him through the system in uniform over my dead body." Mm-hmm. So he got my clothes out of my locker.
The 2 of you together could probably take everybody.
You know what?
Now you
that
got
went
one more.
through their minds.
Yeah.
So he was a heavyweight too. So he
Not
comes through my.
Lee Pachter.
No, not Lee. But Lee, he's part of this story.
Okay.
So Mike comes in. I get changed. He won't let them touch me. He goes, "I'm fingerprinting him. I'm doing the paperwork." So Mike, process my arrest, and he hates it because anytime I introduce him to anyone, I'm like, "Oh, he's my arresting officer." So this is so funny. So he's doing all the paperwork, and he wouldn't let him cuff me, and now they want to transport me down to Central Booking. So he sat in the back with me, and there was a lieutenant and a sergeant from IAB.
Were they eating cheese?
Yeah, so there's cheese wrappers all over the place. I was like,
What kind of cheese? Gouda?
Velveeta.
So we're now we're on the FDR Drive, and it's gridlock traffic. And this is how good of a guy Mike is. You're gonna love this. So we're sitting in on the FDR, gridlock traffic, and I'm looking around. I'm going, I'm not cuffed. So I lean over to Mike. I'm like, "Hey, Mike, I think I'm gonna make a run for it." So he says, "Well, you better hit me, but don't break my jaw." Like, that was his first reaction. Not like, "Don't do it." He was like, "Go ahead. I'll cover you." So he goes, "Where you gonna go?" I said, "Not to fucking jail." So he goes, "Don't worry about it. We got this. We know enough people there. We'll straighten this out." Because we were both Manhattan cops. So made college, DA's there. So the funniest thing was walking into Central Booking. I'm not cuffed. And this is what we used to do. When you made a collar, you would put your regular clothes on.
Yeah, sure.
And you'd go down with the body and you'd lodge them. And so I walk in the door.
In Manhattan Central Booking, I loved the feet on the floor that said mope.
Right.
I love that. Imagine today, they were like, "Oh, get rid of that."
Right.
For years, it stood there.
What you're saying is that when you walk into Central Booking, there's 2 footprints. That's where your perp
has to get his picture.
person arrested is going to stand. And where it says mope.
So I walk in and they're like, "Hey, Murray, what do you got today?" I'm like, "No, I'm the customer tonight." So they bring me in, they take my pictures, they put me on 132.
Did you object to being seen as a mope?
Yeah, right. So I'm sitting at 132 and I'm waiting, and the PBA sends this lawyer down there. I get him on the phone. Mike's already up talking to the bureau chief and trying to get things expedited. And the PBA lawyer calls up and he goes, "Hey, you work in Manhattan? Is there a pizza place over there?" I was like, "Oh, well, good idea. I'm hungry." He goes, No. I usually bring pizza for the guys there. I was like, "What?" Like, he gives, the court personnel.
Yeah.
I was like, "Really?" So my papers are ready. I'm waiting for this lawyer. Like, my stuff got pushed through to try to get me out of there. He's taking forever to get there. And when he shows up, he wasn't kidding. He gave the pizza to everyone else, not to me.
You.
So I end up getting ROR to get released.
ROR means released on own reconnaissance for audience.
Right, sorry. And so I get released. I go to Tommy Gallagher, who was my trainer at the time, and tell him what happened. So he hooks me up.
Did he say nice shot?
Yeah, he did. What'd you hit him with? So he hooks me up with a lawyer. At the time, Ray Mercer, I don't know if you remember this.
I remember Ray Mercer. He was great.
He just fought Jess Ferguson in the Garden. And it was like an elimination thing where Ray was going to get a title shot.
Yeah.
So he was like accused of bribing him in the ring because he was losing the fight.
Oh, yeah.
He got locked up for that.
Yeah, pulling him in and whispering in his ear.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
He got locked up for that. So he's like, "I got the perfect lawyer for you. He's representing Ray Mercer." I was like, "Okay, we're both boxers, but I don't see the connection. I'm not bribing anyone, So I meet with him, nice guy. I liked him, but I wanted to go to the grand jury, as you know, with the felony. I was charged. Oh, this is the funniest thing. My friend was charged with assault 3. I go to the precinct to help him.
The other cop?
No, the guy, remember, I went there because the detective arrested my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was charged with assault 3, got a DAT, walked out. I go there to talk to the guy about him. I get charged with assault 2.
Yeah.
And I end up going through the system. So,
With a
help I was.
felony, yeah.
So, I wanted to testify at the grand jury. I did nothing wrong. I defended myself. He came at me. I threw one punch. I backed up. So my lawyer didn't want me to do that. He was like, no, don't go in there. Grand jury's never a good idea. So I ended up leaving him, and I got another attorney. He was a fantastic attorney. This guy left no stone unturned. We were in the office, queen for a day with the prosecutor, which is, everyone has a right to remain silent, and they can't use anything, they can't hold any negative inference. But queen for a day is, if you want to come in and tell your story, we'll sign a contract that if we do proceed with a trial, we won't use anything you said during this thing, which is a great tool.
Yeah.
So I went in there and I told him what happened. I think he was very convinced. His name was Mike Scotto, which he'll come into this story later. It's crazy.
He's the attorney.
He was the DA.
Oh, the DA.
DA.
Okay.
So we do the Queen for a day, and then I had to go to the bureau chief for a second meeting. Warren Murray was the bureau chief. I don't know if you know Warren. So I go meet with him, and he's questioning me and the whole night thing. And I think these guys are like, yeah, okay,
Do they keep making you tell the story how you fuck with the shotting over?
Yeah, right.
So tell us again. Can you show me? Where did you hit him exactly?
What did you have a glove on? Did you have,
Can I see your hand? Can I?
But so they're going through the whole thing, and I talked to my lawyer. I'm like, what? They seem to be satisfied with what happened. Mm-hmm. He says the detective union is pressuring them to indict you. Mm-hmm. So they're going to present it to a grand jury. So I said, okay. So I testified at the grand jury. He testifies. Then I. Your
lawyer let you?
Yeah, he was in there with me. Okay. And he was convinced too. He was like, look, just.
All right.
Talk to this grand jury.
No true bill under case, right?
No true bill. So we go through, and they no true billing.
You didn't get indicted.
No indictment.
Wow, okay. Nice.
So I was like, wow, that's great. Next
lawsuit.
NYPD.
So it's over then now, right?
No trial room.
Criminal charge. The criminal charge.
Trial room, and you have a civil case.
Trial room and civil case. So he sues me for $1 million for all his pain and suffering and damage and nerve damage.
He's doing $1 million worth of damage with them hands.
Now I know these hands. So and the job wants to fire me again. The political, the bureau, and so I ended up hiring Bruce Cutler to do my.
Bruce Cutler.
Oh,
John Gotti's lawyer. Holy shit! This case is getting good.
Listen, everybody says like he's the Gotti lawyer, but Bruce. He represents a lot of cops.
He was a Brooklyn DA.
He was a Brooklyn DA. His father was a detective, Murray Cutler.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he's well versed in department trial. And,
you know what's bothering me? These hands. They're too small. I'll never fight Joe Louis.
I love that movie.
You talking about Gotti?
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull.
Uh-huh. So I hired Bruce, and that lingers on for a couple of years, and then finally they were throwing.
When you say lingers on for a couple of years, I mean a
couple of years.
There's papers going to court. There's papers going out of court. People are talking, but
department, not criminal or anything.
This isn't a civil case yet.
No, the civil case, I had a firm that I hired that was
so this must have cost you a fortune in attorneys.
Ton of money.
Where are you getting this money? How do you even?
So this was the beauty.
Midtown North saved a lot of money.
So the 7th precinct where I worked, and the cops were great there, and I loved them, and I was a fairly well-liked guy, while I was there. So the precinct right away took up the collection. Everyone, 100%, even the CO, put into the, not the CO, the XO. So they all did like a collection initially when you get suspended, because you're suspended, you
don't get paid. Yeah, you don't get paid.
And I had just bought my house in Howard Beach. It was so funny. It was the house I grew up in. It just happened to be for sale, and I bought it. And
that's
so.
So yeah, that good feeling, that great feeling, plus on the other side.
Right.
Wow, that's tough.
So.
What are you going through right now, mentally right now? How are you even holding it together?
That comes into play too. So.
You feel like going out and just knocking somebody out?
Yeah.
So I started taking fights every weekend.
Make a few extra dollars. So. But the cops were so good there, they wanted to hold like a racket now and it got so bad where the 7th precinct cops and the 10th precinct cops would be on a detail and fighting with each other. Like they had to separate them.
Oh, wow.
So they want to hold a racket. The PBA is not backing me. They're like, he hit another cop.
They're both precincts in Manhattan. And the 7th precinct is on the east side. 10th precinct is on the west side in the Village.
Chelsea.
So when you get together at a detail, that means you're looking at somebody else's collar brass. And you can see where they work. And if you're in the 7th, you're like, hey, what's up with your friend over there? What the fuck is wrong?
That's exactly
And then now, before you know it, like, shut up, get away from me. And then now the 10th precinct is fighting.
Well, you know what it is? Cops are very protective of each other. I remember even going to a bar and like if someone like even did that to other cops would be like, "Son, you okay?"
Yeah,
you know, like they would be ready to kill the guy. You know,
that was honestly, that was the whole thing. If this was my precinct and I had a fight with a guy in my precinct, this thing would have died right there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I was in the 10th precinct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even the PBA delegate, who was a 10th precinct PBA delegate, was trying to talk to people, even went to my partner to try to get him to testify against me. I was like, are you kidding me? Because he's a 10th precinct guy.
Right. Yeah.
He works with these guys.
He
works
look out
with
for his guy,
the 10 squad. And
so
wait, the money, right?
Okay.
So they're trying to hold a racket. PBA won't support it. They're like, no. The 10th precinct.
Because when you say you're trying to hold a racket, that means you want to have a fundraising party for on your behalf,
expenses.
But you have to go through the channels. There's a piece of paperwork that goes. It's got to get signed off first of all by your sergeant, then the lieutenant, then the captain, then the
and doesn't
borough
IED have to approve it?
The
too?
borough freaking commander. Then it's got to go down to 1 PP and get signed off by the chief. All this so you can have a party.
We couldn't even get that far because the PBA squashed it. They're like, no, Murray hit another cop, took the side of a perp, whatever, you know. So my cops were like, screw that. So they went to the FOP, and under the FOP lodge, they held a spring fling in the winter, you know, like, so just making it obvious. And they raised a lot of money, you know, at that thing, which I was blown away by. Like, this is how, as you talked about, the loyalty of your cops, you know, like they will go out of your way for a good guy, you know. So I was blown away by that, and they gave me this money, and it helped defer some of my legal expenses and being suspended. So, and Bruce Cutler, you know, he gave me a good rate for Bruce Cutler, you know, and that was him in his heyday. So ultimately, Bruce gets me a Nolo. Bruce and
this is all for a department trial. So Eddie Mahoney.
PBA guy.
I was very friendly with Eddie. And so Eddie and Bruce called me up. They were both on the phone together and then called me. Because he kept trying to tell me, like, they were throwing offers at me to plead guilty to this, plead guilty to that. You'll keep your job. I'm like, I'm not pleading guilty to anything. I did nothing wrong.
Civilly, that could kill you.
And it would kill me civilly. So the two of them are on the phone, and they're like, we have a deal for you. It's something that we want you to really consider. I plead nolo contendere, so I don't have to plead guilty.
Well, you got to plead in Spanish now?
That's Latin.
Oh, okay. So
he's Spanish too. Yeah. He speaks Spanish. What does that say?
It's so funny.
Listen, we'll bring you to a court in Spain.
No mas. You plead no mas.
Go ahead. That's really what it was. No mas. All right, fine. I'll accept.
No, what is it called? Nolo comprende?
Nolo contendere.
I nolo comprende. Nolo contende. So what does that mean?
You don't admit anything, but you accept the penalty.
Okay.
It's like no contest. I'm not going to fight it. I'll take it. So
that's what you do when you're married every day.
So, but the funny part is they were like, listen, the good news is you're going to keep your job. The bad news is you no longer have a career. You're done. You're not getting promoted. You're not getting, like, they hate me. And they wanted me fired. Borelli, to his last day.
Did you ever get your guns back?
Yes, I got my guns back. So, to his last day on the job, tried to bury me. And then Chief Hill took over after him.
Hill wanted to do you too?
Yes, yes.
There's some vindictive Irishmen too.
Yes.
Were you able to still box on the team?
Yes, but so watch. I take this nolo contendere, right? 60-day hit.
Oof.
I get suspended again. Are we done?
Oh. No. We'll keep going.
I get suspended again, but now the civil case is still creeping along. And they were making such a big deal out of the boxing because I got interviewed by Tom McDonald from Channel 5. He was following me in the Golden Gloves. And, of course, he brings this thing up, you know, that the fight I had. And he wants to and my lawyers are like, are you out of your mind? You're doing interviews about the fight that's being litigated? Like, but I didn't do anything wrong. So they were litigating that.
Is it safe to say you were a little punchy back then?
So you know, it's so much else happened, but We finally now are creeping along. It takes 8 years to go to trial.
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
8 years to go to
The
trial.
department trial. No, the department
civil
Oh, the
trial.
civil trial. Okay, yeah.
Actually, all right, let me just tell you that. So it takes 8 years to go to trial. By that time, I got transferred back and forth to different commands, and funny stuff happened. And
You should have taken a test to be boss. They couldn't stop you from being promoted.
yeah, that's it.
I just, I was just trying to. It wasn't even trying to get promoted. They were trying to fire me everywhere I went.
Right,
for example, I got restored after I took the plea. Actually, it was right before I got the plea. The Modified Assignment Board got the word that they were going to give me the Nolo, so they put me back to work. So I get a telephone message that I'm going to the 7-9. And the story I got was they don't want the two of us in Manhattan. We may run into each other. Some sparks may fly, and, So you're going to Brooklyn. 11 hours later, another telephone message comes down. I get a phone call. And I had already called up, got my squad, talked to the lieutenant. He's like, yeah, take chart day, take today, come in tomorrow. So I get another telephone message. You're going to the 3-2. I'm like, the 3-2? I thought I can't be in Manhattan.
The Tomb of Gloom.
Boy, that place is a scary place. So I'm like, wait, I thought I can't be in Manhattan. And I know this guy worked in the 3-2 when he was a cop before he got promoted. So I'm like, this is a setup. So Lee Pachter, who he's so funny, you should have him on.
Lee Pachter.
Well, you know what?
Lee Pachter had the funniest expression. He would see someone pissing out on the street, and he would say, "Why are you peeing out on the street? There's a perfectly good elevator in that building to pee in."
He is the funniest guy.
A funny guy.
I don't want to cut us off. Listen, but we got to take our break right now because we're over an hour, and we're going to come back. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to come back, and we're going to do part 2.
Great.
Here with Joe Murray. It's going great. I love this.
Thanks.
What a story!
Oh my God!
Shit.
You know, the next time, let him just say.